Welcome back to another episode of the From Half Court Sports Talk Show with Darren and Rob. I'm your host, Rob. That's my other co-host, Darren. Today we're going to go over some of the playoff games, some of the playoff coverages, and we're going to go over the NFL schedules that just got announced, specifically the Super Bowl contenders and the Bengals and the Rams. But the first thing I have to say to Darren is, I told you so. I fucking told you so. I told you Luka was going to force this series of 7 games. I told you he's like that. Also,
Yeah,
not one
whatever.
team has lost a home game yet. And what did we always say about Game Sevens, Darren?
Nah, about the home team win them.
No, anything can happen in a Game 7. Literally anything.
Well, I'm calling it Phoenix is winning it.
I got Dallas. Luka Legend's gonna do it again.
How
The
much
only
money?
thing, no, I'm not gonna bet on it, and here's why.
Exactly,
Here's why.
exactly.
It's not that Luka has been playing well on the road, and Luka has had some bad shooting games in this series, some like really bad ones. Um, but his role players and his shooters haven't been shooting well on the road at all. They haven't shot well on the road one time, um, this series, and they shoot well at home. And just because of that alone, it's hard not to pick Phoenix to win this series tonight. But once again, anything can happen. My prediction: Luka goes for 50 and wins it in magical fashion. Step back game winner,
You
right
just said
corner.
his shooter is not going to be on the road with them,
So he's gonna go for 50.
and they still lose.
I'm telling you, game winner. He's gonna hit him with a Jason Tatum side step.
If that boy scores 50, they're not going to be close enough to win it. You got to bring everybody else with you.
All right. The next series. Shout out to Miami Heat for getting the job done, closing out the series. Uh, I I can sum this series up by I got in a conversation with somebody on YouTube today about this series, and the what the original comment said was, "Damn, no one at the beginning of the season said the Heat were going would go this far," and I was like, hmm,
Oh, uh,
have people not looked at the depth the Miami Heat's had on this team? This team goes like 4 players deep on their bench that could be that starters on other teams.
I
Victor
already,
Oladipo could be somebody's number one scorer on a really good team. Tyler Hero could be someone's number one scorer on a really good team. Robinson is a starter on a really good team. Miami's just the most deep built team in the league. The only team that you can compare to them, in my opinion, is the Phoenix Suns, but that's because they have a superstar scorer and a superstar point guard.
whoever said that on YouTube was wrong, though. Like, let's just be real. There's multiple people who have Miami coming out the East. I know at least I want to say like Kendrick Perkins or somebody said it that Miami was. I know at least one ESPN analyst said it. They had Miami coming out the East at the beginning of the year.
Definitely, bro. They were just in the finals. What, 2 years ago?
Yeah, I don't know how. 'Cause that's a weird statement. Now, if you want to say Atlanta, nobody had Atlanta coming out the East. Yes. Um, I only really nobody had Toronto coming out the East. We can throw all the rest in there if you want, but Miami was definitely one of those that I had them over Chicago. I had them over Philly. I had them over Boston. To me, it was really the Bucks, Miami, and then Brooklyn if they got their shit together at the beginning of the year. The Celtics surprised me this year with the first year head coach, and that's pretty much it for me. To be honest with you,
I expect right now, before we get to this Boston Milwaukee series, right now, who do you have coming out the Eastern Conference Finals?
the Eastern Conference Finals. That's really a toss 'em. I'm I'm gonna say Miami because I don't know if Chris Middleton is going to play,
I agree with
and
you. Go ahead.
they need Chris Middleton to win versus Miami for sure.
All right. So also tonight's game, one of tonight's games is the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Boston Celtics. Milwaukee's up 3-2 right now. What's your predictions for this game?
It's back at Milwaukee, right?
Correct.
Oh, it's over with.
It's over.
Finito. It's over with.
They close out.
They close him out. Go ahead and get your rest, and get Middleton a little bit more healthy before you gotta go see Miami in a couple. What is that? Say the 17th. So was that Tuesday?
4 days. Yeah.
Yeah. So get your rest. Start like battle these niggas tonight, and then rest the rest of the weekend. That's
Do
how I
you do
feel.
you
What you
expect
think?
bad shooting nights from either Jason Tatum or Jalen Brown?
Jason Tatum hasn't had a really good playoff in general shooting offensively in general, if you ask me. But yeah, I don't see that changing for Jason Tatum. I think he would have to be the person that like brings his team out of it because he's not doing much offensively. He's getting asked to do a lot defensively. Don't get me wrong. I understand why he's not doing a lot, but he has to. He has to do it. He has to. And my biggest thing is Shaq actually was saying this about Donovan Mitchell and how Donovan Mitchell got to start getting his team to that next round. I feel with Jason Tatum, this is your team. We've all said that this is your team at this point, and I'm expecting you to bring your team towards that next round because beating Brooklyn ain't enough for me to just say you've arrived.
I agree with you on this. I agree with you on that. This is a big pressure game for the Boston Celtics. Um, I remember we were having those conversations before, earlier in the playoffs, and I was telling you about I thought they should have came out in 2018, and you told me I had them too early.
Yep.
This is the time. This is the time. I feel like if Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown are the future of this franchise for years to come, for the rest of their careers possibly, this is the time they have to come up clutch. They got to come up big. You remember LeBron Game 6 in Boston?
Yeah.
This is what they're gonna have to do. They have to go to enemy territory against the defending champs and get the job done in Game 6, and still try to come back in Game 7 and win that game too. If Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown are the superstars that we think they are, they have to show up. They have to.
The problem is that they're young, so we don't talk about their legacy, but their legacy is starting to be in question because of a series like this. Chris Middleton is missing this whole series.
Yeah, Milwaukee has an
Like,
excuse per se.
yeah, exactly. Like y'all don't. Like there's not. You got the defensive player of the year, Marcus Smart. You got Tatum. You got Brown. Now. Don't get me wrong. Y'all biggest flaw has been y'all biggest flaw for years. Honestly, at this point, that y'all don't have enough size. Well, Boston. Is it Robert Williams? I think
Yes.
it's Robert Williams. I think he's out, or at least he missed last game. So you could use that as an excuse, maybe, but I would say he's so young that I wouldn't use that as an excuse, personally. I don't know. I think this is a legacy. This is a legacy one, and it starts now. That's great that you beat Brooklyn, and we will not forget that how badly you beat Brooklyn. But in my opinion, Brooklyn doesn't have a good coach, so we can start there. And I like Boston's coach, but these are the type of series that Boston gotta make it over the line
And
because
Boston
the East ain't getting no easier either. Go ahead though.
and Boston also has the culture, the structure, um, the history in it. They have to show up tonight. They have to show up.
Yep, they on the road, so I don't think they will. And Giannis is Giannis.
All right. The night game tonight is Golden State Memphis. This is this is in Golden State. Golden State closes out tonight
Yes, sir.
in
They do.
spectacular fashion.
Don't know about that, but yeah. I still got to be in a close game, but yeah, absolutely. I think Golden State wins this game.
John Morant not being in the series. John Morant was their X factor. Um, Simple as Golden State didn't have anything to stop John Morant at all. It was just John Morant had to have a bad night, and I don't believe John Morant has had a bad night against Golden State until the injury. So I think this is I don't want to say easy win because the Memphis Grizzlies proved in their last game that they ain't no bitch and there ain't no pushover, and they still got that Zach Randolph in them.
And they
So
won.
that's what I'm saying.
So if they could win a game without Ja, you just saying because it's this game they can't.
Correct. They don't have Ja.
Okay.
It's a away game. The crowd's going to go crazy. They're gonna come out to close out. Um, you also got to remember, the Golden State came out in all black that game too. That's mad disrespectful. They knew exactly what they were doing.
I'm not I'm not basing it on that. Uh, yeah, but Golden State should definitely win this tonight. I don't like the way they lost last game at all. But it was a very bad loss. But I feel like Golden State gets right tonight and just beat them down. And then they get their rest while Phoenix is trying to get their job done on Sunday. Is that Sunday? Yeah,
Which game are you
15.
looking for? Game
Yeah,
7?
so
Yes.
they're not going to play. Golden State probably ain't going to play till what, Tuesday, Monday? No, Tuesday or Wednesday, something like that. So I say finish them tonight. Get your rest for about 4 days. Get Clay healthy. Get everybody healthy.
One more thing before we get off basketball. Um, are you surprised there's only been one sweep this playoffs?
No. The rise of the talent that's in the NBA is real. It's a real. Everybody's good. Everybody's good. The only other series I could possibly say probably should have been a sweep as well is probably I would say probably the Golden State Denver series in the first round or the Chicago Milwaukee series. But I'm not surprised. Everybody's just too talented. So I'm not surprised at all.
All right, so now we're going to move on to some of the NFL schedules that got announced this year. We're going to be doing the Bengals and the Rams. So let's get right into the Bengals schedule. They start off week 1 at Paul Brown Stadium at home against the Arizona
That's
Cardinals.
preseason. It's preseason.
Is it?
Yep.
All right. So they start off at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers week 1, September 11th.
Gonna be a good game. You going to that one?
I'm not planning on it as of right now.
Well, so far looking at these first 4 games, I would say they have a hella easy schedule. Dallas maybe is a good defense. Obviously, the Steelers are a good defense. I think the Jets will be a better defense. Miami's a good defense, but
Without Brian Flores,
yeah, I mean they'll still be a good defensive team. I feel like that just doesn't go away. Um, that's a Thursday night game, that Miami game. I will say they're going to go 3-1 in these first 4 games.
okay. Their next 4 games are against the Baltimore Ravens, the Saints, the Falcons, and the Browns.
Oh, that is so stupid. I think the New Orleans Saints game, I gotta double check, is overseas and not in Louisiana, which would be kind of
Caesar
dope if
Superdome.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to double check where that is.
It sounds like the new name for the Superdome. Yep, it's in
They
New
just
Orleans,
changed the name for the Superdome.
I
Well, that's
guess.
dope. That's good, man. That's gonna be a great game. Seeing them LSU boys go back to Louisiana area. Uh, Baltimore Ravens. They go on the road for what, 2, 3 games? Can you go scroll back up real quick? Yeah, so 2 games in a row. I'm guessing they're gonna have a lot of home games on the back half of their schedule. Uh,
Where we at? We were 9 through 13.
mm, I'm not saying they got an easy schedule, but it kind of they got some opponents on the schedule that just makes you be like, what the hell? Why they got this easy schedule? But
I think it's
I
easy.
guess I get it. They get some easy. The fact that they're playing the NFC South this year kind of like is kind of easy to me because the Saints we don't know what they are. Panthers we know what they are, but they're still rebuilding, which is questionable. And then the Falcons are changing over their guard completely into changing to a totally different new team. So, but their toughest games. Well, this is a tough stretch right here. This week 11 through 13 so far. Um, because you got to go to the Steelers. You got to go to Tennessee after you beat them in the playoffs. They're gonna be mad about that too. And then you go back home versus Kansas City. That's a pretty hard schedule right there. If Kansas City is Kansas City still, it's a hard schedule. Um, then home versus the Browns at Tampa Bay. At yeah, see, yeah, okay, okay. So this schedule gets a little bit more hectic in the back half than the beginning. Um, so yeah, home versus Cleveland. I'll debate it's not really a home game because Ohio. The Browns fans travel pretty good to Cincinnati. Um, Tampa Bay is going to be fighting for their playoff spot, not necessarily in their division, but trying to get that number 1 spot. So they're going to come out firing, I'm expecting. And with Bill Belichick at this point, we don't know what he's going to do. We don't know where the Patriots are going to be at this point. They're pretty much a wild card for me. So for all I know, he could put the defensive mastermind versus Joe Burrow. I don't necessarily know. The Von Miller trade
Yep.
is going to late in the year at this point will hopefully pay off super big for the Bills. And I don't know if I have it winning. If I have Cincinnati winning that game, that's going to be a great quarterback game. And then lastly is the Ravens down there. I'm guessing it's the Ravens. What? Uh, yeah. Okay. But yeah, they play some very good defensive teams at the back half of their schedule these last 3 games. I will say that I don't think Cincinnati's just going to walk into the playoffs easily with the rise of their division getting tougher. Um, Cleveland, I don't think Cleveland is a worse off team right now. I think they're a better team with Deshaun Watson. I can't wait to see when Deshaun Watson comes back. If I'm right, the Browns play Cincinnati in week 9. So I want to see if there is a suspension there. If it's not, that'd be great personally, so we can see Deshaun Watson versus Joe Burrow. Um, these are definitely winnable games for the Bengals, but uh, their back half of their schedule just gets pretty tough, and that's when you're trying to solidify your playoff spot. Like I said, the Steelers are going to be better than they were this past year. I think, hopefully, maybe I don't know.
They better
Um,
be.
the Browns are going to be. Honestly, I think they're going to be better because they're just not going to put the ball in jeopardy and turn it over more. And the Ravens can't really get much worse because their corners weren't there and the running backs weren't there. So when all of that is there on the back half of this schedule, I think that combines with a very hard I'm not saying Cincinnati doesn't get to the playoffs, but I'm saying it's going to be tough for them in the back half of their schedule and the growth, the resurgence of the rest of their division as well.
Um. Okay. So my biggest question for you for each team, what is their biggest most glaring weakness in your opinion
For for Cincinnati,
for the whole division?
their biggest weakness for each. Okay. For Bengals fans, it's going to be exactly that I just said. They're going to think that they're going to walk right back to the playoffs, but for some reason they're not taking. And I'm taking into calculation that they did get a better offensive line and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, if your division gets better because they were hurt, you gotta, like, for example, the Raiders made the playoffs last year. Chargers got a lot better. Broncos got better. We're gonna see what this Jerry Judy news is about. But I'm humble. I'm very humble. I'm not saying the Raiders are just gonna win the division or make the playoffs. I'm not like that. I feel like Cincinnati is need to be in the feat that we are in. Like, hey, there's a lot of shit that went y'all way to get y'all to the playoffs. But I think that's it for Cincinnati. For the Browns, it's going to be the Deshaun Watson news. Is it going to is he going to be able to play or not? I think that's the biggest thing with him. Um, the Steelers is still the offensive line, and who's how they're going to play off of it. It could be that they run a lot more read option and option plays for RPOs for Mitchell Trubisky, which is he did a good job with. And that could change their whole offense. So that maybe won't put too much pressure on the offensive line. But it's definitely the offensive line for the Steelers and changing of the guard. And then the Ravens is just health. Point blank period. It is health. It's the past 2 years has been health. Last year was their corners and the running backs. The past 2 years, Lamar Jackson got sick or hurt at the end of the season. That's pretty. And their offensive coordinator needs to figure out what the fuck he's going to do. I'm not a fan of Greg Roman at all. Those are all the weaknesses in that division, if you ask me.
All right, so let's move on to the Rams schedule. Um, doo, doo, doo. So they open up against the Buffalo Bills on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, that's gonna be a great game. These great coaches that get time to study the other guy and figure out what to do. Also, it's great. One thing I can tell you, the NFL did a great job with storylines. Von Miller just won a Super Bowl with the Rams. Now he gets to go against Matthew Stafford in week one. I think that's a great story for this game. I love the idea of it. A quarterback who can do it all in Josh Allen with another quarterback that can make any pass in the book, Matthew Stafford. Two great defensive players, and Aaron Donald, Von Miller. We'll see if Tre'Davious White is healthy. You got Jalen Ramsey on the other side. These two teams match up so well, so it's going to be good to watch. But I think Buffalo has to start figuring out their running game so they can pull this game out.
Is that the only thing that's holding Buffalo back from a Super Bowl?
Um, I will argue their run defense is not good either because I think it might have been last year when they got exposed by Tennessee. It was like the week before they lost to Jacksonville. It was like a week before or a week after, but they just got ran over because we don't think about even Von Miller isn't really there for the run. He's there for the pass more than anything.
Right.
But they're a pass defense first. They stop the pass. They're not great at stopping the run. So I would say that the fact that they can't stop the run and they don't have a great running game, yeah, I would say that's the two things that's really holding them back.
All right. They got the Atlanta Falcons and the Arizona Cardinals next.
Um, that's great that they open with 2 home games. Um, they're going to definitely beat the Falcons though, because they're in a rebuild. Um, I think they beat Arizona too. Um, sheesh, this is tough. Their schedule. They said the Rams have the toughest schedule.
Is that true? All right, let's go
I
through it.
mean, looking at it, it's pretty tough. Look at this, honestly. It doesn't start out super tough, but if you got the Bills is tough, at Cardinals is tough, at San Francisco is tough, but then you got the Cowboys at home.
It's
Cowboys
still gonna be a
fans
tough game.
travel, huh?
I said it's still gonna be a tough game.
Yeah, but Cowboys fans travel, but it's if the fact that it's at home,
Yeah.
it's just
I don't think the Rams are going to get out fanned like the Chargers fans get out fanned.
I don't know. The Cowboys fans really travel. Um, then you get Carolina at home. That's super easy. Going into a bye week, then this is where the schedule pretty much turns into a shit show right here. If I'm a Rams fan, you got the divisional opponent off of a bye week, which is cool. Then you gotta go to Tampa Bay, which is you just did this in the playoffs, but that came down to a last drive big play by Cooper Cup. So we'll see if that happens again. Then you got Arizona at home. Then you gotta go to the Saints. It'd be different if the Saints were coming to you. You gotta go to the Saints. After playing a divisional game, after playing Tom Brady, after playing another divisional game, you gotta go to the Saints, to Kansas City, Seattle. One thing, the Rams and Seattle always play good against each other. Then you got the Raiders, which is you can. It's really possible that the Rams fans get out. We was talking about them getting outdone by the Cowboys fans. The Raiders fans will definitely probably outdo them because it's the Raiders run LA too. Um, and then um, at Green Bay, that's kind of tough. I don't know. This schedule it kind of turns to a shit show towards the back half.
So saying how tough this schedule is. Hold on, I got distracted. They're putting them versus the Broncos on Nickelodeon. Those Nickelodeon games are pretty fun. Catching a player cussing on Nickelodeon is hilarious to me. But besides the point, um, what's your prediction for the record?
Barring injury, they're going to do good. They're still going. I don't think they'll be the number one seed in the NFC, but I think they're doing pretty good. I think they beat the Packers. I think they beat Denver. Um, at Chargers, they're going to win. At Saints, they're going to figure out how to win. They're going to get at least two of those where I said it's tough.
Mhm.
San Francisco, Tampa Bay, Arizona. They're going to get at least two of those games. So they're still going to have a good schedule or a good record. It's just it's not easy. It's definitely the toughest schedule in. It looks like the toughest schedule. When I saw the Raiders schedule, when I saw us on their schedule, I was like, yeah, this ours is tough. So and they said theirs is worse than ours. So I can only believe it.
All right. Um, any last takes about those two teams before we go? Do either of those two teams go back to the Super Bowl?
I would say the Rams got the better chance. Somebody else said the Cincinnati Bengals got a better chance.
Who
They
said
said
that?
they had Tampa Bay beating Cincinnati in the Super Bowl. I don't see that personally.
All
I
right.
see the Rams going before Cincinnati goes.
I agree with you. All right. So thank you guys. Do you have any more takes? My bad.
I'm guessing we agree for two different reasons though, but I'm gonna leave that alone.
We do. Um. Uh. Do you have any? You got anything else to say before we go?
Nah, man.
All right. Then I just like to thank you guys for watching another episode of the From Half Court Sports Talk Show with Darren and Rob. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below, and we'll see you guys next Monday. Peace.
Peace. Y'all stay up.